Good evening. Welcome to the Murder Mukbang Show. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Brittany.
Tonight we are doing some Japanese style food. We've got some sushi. I have bulgogi, and edamame, and some tempura. And what do you have?
I have teriyaki chicken with some tempura, rice, and some edamame.
And for our dessert tonight, I made some, I don't know if that looks appetizing or not, but I made some lemon cream cheese bars. So super excited to try these. Can't wait. So you're probably wondering why we're doing Japanese food again. Couple videos back.
Because we like it. Damn.
Whoa. Calm down. A couple videos back, we did a story that took place in Japan, and tonight's story also takes place in Japan. So, we ready to get started?
Yep.
All right. I got to take a bite of food first because I'm starving. I haven't eaten anything since lunchtime today. It's pretty good.
Oh, this edamame is good.
All right. So tonight, our story takes place in Kobe, Japan, and it's called, or it's best known as the Kobe child murders. And so I'll just kind of give you a brief description. In 1997, a 14-year-old boy was charged with murdering two children. One was 10 years old. The other one was 11 years old. And because he was 14 years old in 1997, he was still considered to be a minor and could not be tried as an adult. And so he was referred to in the media as Child A, and then later on known as Saito. Okay, Sito Sakakibaro. I'm real good at this. So
we're just going to apologize ahead of time for pronunciations because it has been brought to our attention that we say things wrong sometimes.
I mean,
sorry guys, we do our best. We're not from these places. We don't speak other languages.
Right. I don't do it to be disrespectful in any manner.
We're not doing it to be disrespectful at all. We just doing the best we can.
So, I guess before the murders, this boy was known as Shinshiniro Azuma. Again, I'm sorry. But then later had his name changed and everything like that. And I'm sorry, my cat is over here destroying our set back here.
Damn, pretzel?
It wasn't pretzel, it was Bob. Anyways. So there isn't much known about Azuma in his early life. He did later, like once he got released from prison and everything, he did release a book that talked about the murders. But I don't think in that book he really went into much detail about his early childhood.
No.
But what we do know from him is that he was the first born of 4 siblings and had 3 other siblings. So the first of 4. And so when he was first born, obviously he was the first one. And so he got a lot of attention. And then his siblings came along and, less and less attention was given to him. Well, he got very close with his grandmother, who, kind of took him under her wing. But then she actually passed away when Azuma was 9 years old. So that was his first experience with death. And then something that is pretty disturbing is that after his grandmother passed away, Azuma goes into her room and finds a massager. We all know it was not a massager.
Dirty grandma.
And so he turns it on, he immediately becomes aroused. So again, not a massager. And so you combine the death of his grandmother being the first death that he's experienced, it being with a loved one, and then now all of a sudden it's something sexual is involved with it. He's combining the two and thinks sex and death go hand in hand, which we've heard about that in other cases. that Toy Box Killer, the video that we did on the Toy Box Killer, he was the exact same way. He thought that death and sex were the same, like went together.
Yeah.
So then he also, this is what kind of bothers me a little bit, and why nothing was said or brought up to Azuma, but he had a history of killing animals, which is a sign of being a psychopath, is if you torture or kill animals.
Mm-hmm.
And so he would actually line frogs up in the street and then run over them with his bicycle, which is just disturbing.
How do you get frogs to stay still in a line?
I don't know.
You don't think about these things?
I mean, I do, but I would just assume that the frogs wouldn't hop away too fast, and then he would just run them over and just turn his bike wheel, and I don't fucking know.
Yikes.
Whatever. He was also known to kill cats and small dogs within the neighborhood. So again, like, this is kind of a red flag that says, hey, maybe something isn't right, going on with him. He was also, by the age of 12, he was also known to bring knives or cutting tools to school with him. And he actually wrote in his diary, he said, I can ease my irritation when I'm holding a survival knife or spinning scissors like a pistol. Hello, teachers?
Right?
What's happening here? I mean, I'm a bit confused. But whatever. No, okay. So in February of 1997, Azuma actually started to escalate his, fascination of, harming things to actually harming human beings. And he assaulted 3 schoolgirls with a steel pipe. All 3 of the girls survived, luckily. Mm-hmm. And one of the girls actually recognized. So I guess in Japan, I guess they wear uniforms to school.
Yeah.
And so one of the girls recognized the jacket that he was wearing and recognized what school it was for. So I guess they went to different schools, but he still attacked him or whatever. So again, like, we're a little confused as to what exactly happened during this time. Like, if the girls got a look at him, knew that he went to this school, there's reports of this kid, bringing knives or, weapons to school. I know that teachers were concerned about some of the drawings that he did on his schoolwork. But nothing was ever done. Like, when the girl said, hey, this kid was wearing this school jacket, like, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Everybody went on about their lives.
Yeah.
So that's where we are, and Brittany's going to take over so I can eat.
So, and you know what? I didn't show a close-up of any of the food that I just ate. We had a request to show some food close-up.
Okay, so I've got a bulgogi roll. Oh, that one's falling apart. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh.
I've never had a bulgogi roll like it's like sushi, but it's bulgogi, if I'm even saying that correctly.
Probably. I don't think I've ever had that. So.
Well, it's really good.
All right, so moving on to the first murder. Ayako Yamashita was a 10-year-old girl. He attacked her with a hammer and bludgeoned her to what he thought was to death. He initially thought he killed her. Well, he did not kill her. She did not die right away. Her face was bashed in, so she was not the same at all. She couldn't talk. She couldn't. I'm pretty sure she was in a coma.
Yeah. It's hard to really know exactly what happened to her.
A lot of the information on this case is difficult to find because in Japan, if somebody is under the age of, before this case, it was the age of 16, they wouldn't be held responsible for what they did. They would pretty much go to like something that is like a juvie, but it was a
reformatory.
Yeah, it was like
place, not
private
jail
school,
or prison.
like military school kind of. Well, if they were under the age of 16, nothing would come about this. So there's not a lot of information on this case, and the information that is on this case, some of it is a little bit confusing, and a lot of different videos say different things. The dates are kind of mixed up. There's no concrete information on this because everything was so secret back then.
I think also part of it has to do with just the whole like translation from Japanese to English as well. Oh gosh. Okay, so we just had some technical difficulties again. Last week I think it was the light. Or wait, that was the week before maybe. Yeah. I don't remember.
If the video skips, it's because of it just cut off on us for no fucking reason.
Yeah. So anyway, so I was just saying that I think it has to do with going from Japanese to English.
Yeah.
So not all the words and everything match up correctly. And a lot of the information I think also came from the book that he wrote, which was in Japanese.
So on the day that Asuma killed this 10-year-old girl, he wrote in his diary, "I carried out a sacred experiment today to confirm how fragile human beings are. I brought the hammer down when the girl turned to face me. I think I hit her a few times, but I was too excited to remember." A week later, the girl died in the hospital from her injuries, and Azuma's mother seen it on the news, and she told her son, like, that poor girl that was in the hospital from being attacked died. Well,
he was too excited.
He was too excited to even know how many times he hit her.
Is that like the type of person who sees red right before they flip out on somebody else?
Probably. Probably just completely blacks out when he's doing these kind of things. Psychopath. Anyway, so that day that his mom told him that the little girl died, he wrote another entry in his journal. Said, "This morning my mom told me, poor girl, the attacked seems to have died." The girl attacked... Excuse me. I can't read. "Poor girl. The girl attacked seems to have died. There's no sign of my being caught."
It's probably a typo. Yeah. The girl who was attacked.
Yeah. Anyway. "There's no sign of my being caught. I thank you." How the fuck do you say that?
Oh.
Bam O Dikash Bam?
It's some god that he basically just prayed to. And I don't know. I'm not going to even try to pronounce it.
No, we're not. It's some god that he prays to. And he was thanking this god for protecting him from not getting caught from killing this girl. So, a little while after the attack of this 10-year-old, Azuma attacked another girl whom he stabbed several times. The girl was walking and noticed how close Azuma was to her. She said, and this girl survived, by the way. She said that she felt a pain in her abdomen, and when she put her hand there, she noticed she was bleeding profusely. She was taken to the hospital, had surgery for several injuries, stab wounds, but she survived.
Well,
this little asshole.
Like, this was on the same day that he just, like, or, not just, this is like within relatively close.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, that was fun. I want to do it again. And
this all happened within 6 months, I believe. All of these attacks that we're talking about.
So I'm going to talk about the second murder, which is the most disturbing of the murders that he committed. So on May 27th, 1997, kids were headed to school to start their day. And when they were arriving at the gates, they were greeted with the head of an 11-year-old boy, Jun Hase, who was also one of their classmates. And this was, I will say, this was at a school who it was for mentally challenged or mentally disabled children. So every student that went there had some kind of mental disability to them. So you can only imagine. I mean, I only imagine what a 10-year-old child walking to school finding a head, and then if they didn't have the same mental capacity as somebody at the same age, how disturbing that could have been for them. So Jun Hase actually went missing on May 24th. So 3 days later is when his head was found. His mouth had been cut from ear to ear. I imagine like something similar to like what the Joker in Batman in the Batman movie. And inside his mouth was a note that was written in red ink. So I'll read that to you. And again, because this was translated from Japanese to English, just bear with me. Hopefully I'll do a little bit better job than Brittany just did.
Sorry.
So it said, "This is the beginning of the game. You police guys, stop me if you can. I desperately want to see people die. It is a thrill for me to commit murder. A bloody judgment is needed for my years of great bitterness." Huh. I mean, a 14-year-old kid wrote that. I don't think that I would have been able to write something like that when I was 14.
I was writing my own rap songs when I was 14.
So, at the end of the note, there were a couple of different things. It had a design on it that looked very similar to the zodiac symbol. It's like the circle with the cross in the center of it. And so a lot of the police that were speculating that he maybe was a copycat Zodiac killer. And of course, at this time, they didn't know that it was a child. The fact that this boy's head had been cut off, your first instinct is to not think that it's a child who did this. You're thinking that it had to have been some adult doing it. And then also at the end of the letter, he had written in English, Shool killer. It was spelled SHOOL killer. So I think he probably misspelled school. So it would say school killer because that's what he was going to go by.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of hard to tell. It's like you go with this very dramatic written letter and then but I guess he was writing English, so it is his second language. So anyways, so the disturbing part is that upon further examination of Jun Hase's head, the police or the medical examiner actually found semen in every orifice on the head. So every hole in the head had semen in it.
Eyes, nose, mouth, ears, neck hole.
So,
all of those.
So what had happened was Azuma attacked Jun Hase, strangled him to death, cut his head off, raped him, raped his body, then took his head home with him, hid the head, like, I guess, in his room, or I think I had also heard that he had kept it in the ceiling. I don't know. And he kept it for a couple of days, and he took it into the bathroom and had sex with the head. Very similar to Ed Kemper. So this kid already has potentially two serial killers that he's idolizing and idolizing. Like, that's gotta be obviously a warning sign. Like,
first of all, how does a 14-year-old even have the strength to cut off a head?
I mean, okay. So in my line of work, I'm not cutting heads off of people, but I've cut heads off of animals before for rabies testing. And so there's a joint that you're not cutting through bone, like you're cutting through the joint in the head, like where your skull meets your spine. You're cutting through that joint. At least in animals. I don't know about humans. Okay. Whatever. Shut up. It's just because I'm not a psychopath, it is disturbing when I have to cut the heads off of these animals.
All I'm saying is I've watched a lot of
Hollywood movies.
No, you know what kind of videos I watch. And they're not fake. They're not from Hollywood. And it takes these grown-ass men quite a long time to cut heads off.
I don't know. I guess that there's a lot of anger and I don't know.
Psychopaths have super strength, guys.
They do. So June's body was found. Again, there were conflicting things because I read one thing that said his body was found a couple hours after his head was found, but then I also read that it was a couple of days later.
Yeah.
So his body was found near a house, or under a house in the woods near the school. So it happened in pretty close proximity to the school. And actually, Azuma knew June because June was friends or acquaintances with one of Azuma's younger brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So he knew this kid. So that's the end of my story.
Okay.
All right, so we're back. We scarfed the rest of our food down real quick because we're almost to the end of our story. So now we're gonna indulge in some delicious lemon bar.
I just licked my finger. It's so good.
Okay. All right.
Anyways. Oh yeah, I forgot it's my turn to talk now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So
Mm-hmm.
I gotta take a bite of this first. I can't. And my mouth is watering and it's sitting in front of me.
That's pretty damn good.
No, what?
Yes, that's delicious.
Ooh, that's so good.
That's pretty good. Okay.
I will have this on my birthday every year. With a sign in the background that says, "It is your birthday." That's my requirements. Period. Anyways, guys. So on June 6th, a letter was sent to the newspaper, Kobe Shimbun.
Sure.
Shimbun. I guess that's the newspaper name. The letter took responsibility for the murder of June Hase and threatened to kill 3 more every week. It was at this time that the killer named himself Sieto Sakibara.
Mm-hmm.
The characters used in the letter meant, and like little symbols that he drew on the bottom of his letters. Like some of them looked like zodiac symbols, some of them were Japanese. The ones that he wrote on his letter meant alcohol, devil, rose, saint, and fire. And fight. Sorry. This was found in the first letter in June's mouth. By the way, that letter that was found inside of his mouth was also covered in semen.
Yeah, well,
literally everything on the head
was in semen.
Yeah.
So,
the letter read, "Now it's the beginning of a game. I am putting my life at stake for the sake of this game. If I'm caught, I'll probably be hanged. Police should be angrier and more tenacious in pursuing me. It's only when I kill that I am liberated from the constant hatred that I suffer and that I am able to attain peace. It is only when I give pain to people that I can erase my own pain." So, I really wish I knew more about what happened to him when he was younger. Because some really fucked up shit had to have happened to this kid in order for him to be, first, cutting off heads and fucking them. Yeah. And 2, writing things like this at 14. Like, that's kind of sad when you read it and you think about it. Like, yeah. What did he go through?
Yeah, what happened to him that caused him that much pain?
Yeah. Doesn't make anything that he did right, by the way. No. We just like to look at things from a lot of different perspectives and put other people's feelings in consideration, even if it's the murderer. Like, that's just how our brains work. That's why we're interested in these kind of stories, because we're just curious. Yeah. I personally would like to know what happened to him as a child.
Yeah, I would too.
He also called the education system compulsory education, which formed me an invisible person. So
maybe he was abused by a teacher.
Maybe that's why he chose to do things at school, or I don't know, or why he considered himself the school killer. Yeah. So the media panicked when they were reporting, called the killer by the wrong name. Anibara, which means devil rose. Well, this pissed him off because psychopaths normally like to
take credit
for what they're doing, and
mm-hmm.
he did not like being called the wrong name. And this infuriated him, so he wrote another letter stating, "From now on, if you misread my name or spoil my mood, I will kill 3 vegetables a week. If you think I can only kill children, you are greatly mistaken." Vegetables referring to the mentally disabled people and children. So he also, and I researched this on another video that I did, he was extremely into what they call in Japan as broken wrestling,
mm-hmm.
which is mentally handicapped, people with Down syndrome, people with other mental disabilities, midgets. Oh, sorry, not midgets. Excuse me. Little people.
Little people don't have mental disabilities.
I know, but that's also part of broken wrestling. Like
okay.
They call it midget wrestling over there. That's why I said that term, but I know that's
okay,
not PC. Anyway, so it's a broken wrestling's like a really popular thing in Japan.
It is the 3rd most popular sport watched in Japan. The first being sumo wrestling.
Yes. So maybe that's one of the reasons why he targeted these kind of people.
I don't know.
Is because he was, I don't know, into the rest. I don't know. I can't explain the thoughts of a killer. I'm just here to report the news. Let's see.
Lord, go home.
All right. So Azuma became a person of interest when one of his teachers called the police about some of his drawings at school. So
finally somebody did something.
I feel like he's a smart kid. I feel like he probably has a high IQ. Why would he write the same symbols on fucking papers at work?
Because he wanted to be caught.
Exactly. He wanted to be caught. He wanted people to know who he was and that he's the one that was capable of doing these terrible fucking things. So the drawings at school were very similar to the characters that were used in the letters. So the teacher reported him. The police went and investigated. Once he was arrested, he confessed to the crime of killing Jun Hase and Ayako Yamashita. When the police searched his room, they found very disturbing material there. They found violent pornography and comic books. When they actually were at his house and they asked him point blank, "Did you do this?" He immediately said yes, and then went into full detail, in front of his parents, mind you, how he fucked this head.
Ugh.
Like, he talked about that in front of his mom.
Ugh. God, gross.
Because Azuma was 14 years old, he could not be tried as an adult. Azuma was sentenced to a youth reformatory where he received counseling for his sadism.
Yeah, so, again, reformatory. Like, not prison. A school. Yeah. Okay, so in 2003, it was actually ruled or judged, that's the terminology they use, that he was cured of all of his sexual sadism and compulsion to kill and can be released. 11 years. That he spent 11 years in this reformatory, and all of a sudden, he's cured and sent on his way.
Wait, no. So what year was he locked up? Because he was released in 2005. I think he spent like only 6 years.
Can I not add?
I don't think so.
Oh my God, I can't add.
No.
Okay, yeah. That's it.
6 years.
That's it. Oh my God, I can't add. I'm sorry about that. I gotta carry the one, and it's just too much for me to handle right now. So yeah, in March of 2004, he actually was finally paroled, and okay, sorry, that was my kid saying she needed to go poop. So I guess I'll have to cut this out too. Fuck. So his release was announced to the public and to the families, but they went ahead and changed his name because they wanted him to have a fair chance in society, which we talked about this in our last video with Arthur Shawcross and how he was a little baby and cried about not being able to, keep a job or find a house or anything like that because his neighbors, as soon as they would find out that he was a child rapist and murderer, they would harass him and kick him out of their community. So, rightfully so. And then it wasn't until, they kept his record sealed that he was able to establish roots in a community, and then the fucker went and killed 12 women.
Yeah.
So, it always works out for those people. So nobody knows what his name is to this day. It's all kept quiet, but he did come out with a book, which we never looked to see who the actual author was or who they said that the author of the book was, but I'm sure it's some fictitious name that he came up with. And the book is supposed to be a story of him and like how sorry he is about killing these two children.
No.
But he's not.
I read portions of the book. For one, I refuse to buy the book anywhere because I am not going to be giving any of my money towards a fucking murderer. But I did read portions of it online, and there's no remorse in this book.
Yeah, there's none. He's a cold-blooded killer, and So another thing about this book, well, within society, he said, like, when he got released from prison or from his reformatory school, he said that he wanted to get back in society and work and pay something to the families of the victims.
Yeah.
He's made millions of dollars off of this book. None of it has been given to the victims' families. So that tells me right there that this douchebag is not sorry. Oh, is not sorry.
Mm-mm.
He's not over his sexual sadism.
No.
He's free out in this world. Nobody knows who he is, what his past is, and if he's not killing people now, he's gonna be.
He could literally be anywhere, you guys. That's what's really scary about this case, is that he could be anywhere.
So, I guess you're probably wondering, like, well, wasn't he on parole? Yes, he was on parole from March 2004 to December of 2004. And after that, he didn't have to report anymore. And he went off the grid. And it's in a couple of the articles that I read is that, like, not even his parents know where he is. I think that's bullshit. I think they do know where he is. And you know what? If he's out there making it work and making an honest living and doing the right thing and not killing people or wanting to kill people, great. Good for him. I'm very skeptical of it.
Yeah, me too.
It doesn't work like that. And our last case that we talked about is proof that it doesn't fucking work.
You don't cut off a head and fuck it for 3 days and then all of a sudden you're okay.
Yeah.
No, you're not going to ever be able to convince me of that bullshit.
Right. So that was our story about...
Oh, we didn't talk about his website.
Well, I didn't do research on that.
So
she did.
He created a website, like this kind of blog sort of thing. You can't find it anymore because it was taken down. But it was like had weird stories in it. There was a lot of weird artwork that is a man's torso that has a hood on it. And people speculate because of the body type in these pictures and what he looked like as a 14-year-old. They suspect that these pictures are actually him. But they're just weird looking pictures. One of them, it's a torso. No, Bob. It's a torso. And then from the belly down, it's a fucking scorpion. Like, what? And then there's another
one with the scorpion.
Yeah, there's another one where he is laying down, and it's the same torso, same head, same hooded head, and like you can see there's something coming up through his legs, and it's like a fetus alien looking thing. You can't tell me that this person is cured of all their weird shit when they have this kind of artwork on a website.
No.
Like,
I don't know. I don't believe it.
Nope. Hopefully he's not out there killing you guys, but
he probably is.
He is out there, and
yeah,
these kind of people exist out in this world.
Unfortunately, they do.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that was our story about the Kobe child murders. We hope you
Yep.
all enjoyed. Sorry it was kind of all over the place, and hopefully the editing won't be too terrible. And my cat is on the table right now. He is just being disruptive all evening. Bob. So thank you guys so much for watching. This was the Murder Mukbang Show. What's our slogan again? Oh my God.
You kill him?
We grill them. Yep, that's it. Bye, guys.
Bye.